the last TTO. You guys seem to enjoy the TTO series, and it's back on the same mission, man. Last week, I didn't really plan this one, but like this, like I planned it, but it's funny. Last week I had an awesome Bitcoin boomer jump in. And now I've gone on the other spectrum, and we're going to get a Bitcoin zoomer on here. And again, the goal of this series, guys, is, as we say all the time, winning the hearts and minds of the masses out there. And in my opinion, I don't think I could have got a better zoomer out here. Nick and I go way back. And in my opinion, he is the quintessential Bitcoiner. And he just, man, I hate to say it, I hate to use the word, but he's a hustler, and he is building things. And as I named this this episode, it's building a legacy with Bitcoin, and he is one of my favorite memes. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring in Nick, and I'll give him a little intro. But Nick, what's up, dog? How you doing today, bro?
Yo, how's it going? I'm doing well. Happy to come on the show. I love coming on Simply.
Let's go. Doing wonderful. Unfortunately, guys, he didn't get cute for us, so you're gonna have to deal with the with the non-avatar. But I think we're gonna start with just like context, bro. What do you do in Bitcoin? You got a heavy hitting title, so let's get that context out there, and then we'll go back into like your rabbit hole journey and in my opinion, how far you came, bro.
Thanks. But no, I'm nobody special. I'm just a normal dude in Bitcoin. I work for BitcoinMagazine, where I'm the head of news there. So I run the news team, and me and my team, we cover the stories on our website, as well as we do a lot of the social media on across all of our platforms, including like the conference and actual Bitcoin Magazine. So that's mainly what I do. And then in my free time, I'm trying to explore other opportunities and see what else I can get done.
Let's go. Let's go. As I said, bro, quintessential Bitcoin zoomer over here. But man, I think where I want to start, bro, let's go way back. Let's go way back into the beginning and talk about you don't have to talk about the AH story, the infamous American HODL story, but I want to kind of talk about how you essentially like dropped out of college to go all in on Bitcoin. And I went to college, and a lot of people ask me all the time, like, yo, should I go to college? And I hate like giving people the advice of like either going or not going to college, because like, you know, it's a very personal decision. But I think it's very interesting when we talk about your story, bro. Like, you literally dropped out, went all in on Bitcoin, and it's probably the best decision you've ever made in your life. Like, you know, from the outside looking in, it seems like you couldn't have made a better decision. So maybe you want to touch on this. We don't have to give people advice about what they should be doing in their life, but can we just go over what you were thinking when you made this decision?
Yeah. So, well, it kind of started like when I found Bitcoin. I found my Bitcoin when I was 18. I was a senior in high school, and I was really trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. And I had played travel soccer my whole life for like a really competitive team. We were like top 50 in the country for a lot of my playing career. And I always thought that I was going to go to a top D1 school and play soccer. And then after like trialing at a few different schools, I ended up not committing to a D1 school, and that like kind of broke me. And after that, I was just thinking like, okay, well, you know, what is my future going to be like? And I found Bitcoin around that time, and I was like, holy shit, I can get like rich as fuck through this. And at the time, I was like, I didn't know anything about money. I didn't know anything about investing or, you know, Bitcoin or crypto or anything. I didn't know Bitcoin was separate from crypto. And, you know, I was a complete noob. And the main reason why I wanted to get into Bitcoin was just to, you know, get rich, which a lot of people do. But, you know, once I got into Bitcoin and I kind of, you know, dug further down the rabbit hole, it was like, oh my God, there's so like Bitcoin is so much more than like, you know, this get rich quick scheme, because it's not that. It's so much more. And then I decided, long story short, just to go to community college, work a job in physical therapy, and pursue that as a career while accumulating Bitcoin. And then after a few years of doing that, I was like not happy at all. Like I haven't said this on many other podcasts, but I was like legitimately depressed and like on medication. Like my whole life had changed. Like all my friends had moved away, my family moved away. I was working, I wasn't playing sports, and I was just like doing stuff that I did not like at all. And the only thing I really liked was Bitcoin outside of soccer. And it came to a point like, after a couple years of working and just accumulating Bitcoin, I kind of thought, I'm doing well in school right now, but I really don't want to go to 8 years of school to become a physical therapist. Like, screw that. So I was just exploring, opportunities in Bitcoin and seeing opportunities left, right, and center for me to go grab. And I thought, I need to, be doing this a lot more. And then, you know, the everything about COVID and like the government shutting down everything was really bad, but that presented me with an opportunity to go all in on Bitcoin because my school shut down, classes were all online. Where I was living at the time in my hometown turned into a complete shit show. Everyone was acting complete crazy, like mass Nazis everywhere. Like, it was bad. So I got out of there and I moved south. And when I moved south, it was literally life as normal. And I would literally just cheat in school and I would finish all my work for the day within an hour. And then I would spend the entire rest of the day doing Bitcoin stuff and going outside and enjoying my life. And that literally cured my depression, like that lifestyle change of focusing exactly what I want and spending more time with my family and spending more time outside, like completely cured it. And I really decided that like I do not want to focus time and energy and money on something like university that literally was teaching me shit like the Communist Manifesto. Like it's just not worth it. So, and like the Bitcoin community on Twitter is so wholesome and so supportive. Like I've never met a group of people who literally will back me through anything. Like the DMs I would get from people just reaching out to me, like telling me they support me and wanting to support me in so many ways. Like it truly like lifted me up and like really continued me to push. And then like once I kind of went down this path of dropping out of school, it was like I have so many people like, like you and Nico, for example, who were like backing me from the start. And it's like, I don't have a choice but to succeed now because then I like if I were to just like stop now and not just see out the potential I see in myself, I'd feel like I'd just be letting down the people who did believe in me. So that's what really made me want to just continue pushing hard and just go harder and harder and then just succeed and see where things go in life.
Let's go, bro. I wrote down a few notes because I want to touch on a few of the things that you said. Because the first one is, I also kind of had the same experience when I found Bitcoin. I don't know if I've said this on a pod. I think I've had in the past, but like, it's very interesting how we both kind of had the same realization of like, I don't know, in our normal life, just being at like the lowest point in our lives to get to Bitcoin. And then only at that point could we like really see the forest from the trees and be like, oh, wait, I got to actually change some things in my life. And we have a really great opportunity in Bitcoin, especially, you and I and everything that we've done in this short amount of time. It's mind-blowing, and this is why I brought you on, but also like why I wanted to do this series in the first place is because Bitcoin fundamentally changes your perspective on the world. And I also I've been going very hard on this idea lately of like the winning mentality. And I love that you played sports because I always relate it back to sports. I played sports in high school, and it's like the same. I think it's the same type of mentality right now in Bitcoin, where it's like, look, I just got to put in the work. I gotta, as we say all the time, just gotta, prove my work, the proof of work philosophy, the proof of work perspective of like, okay, I just gotta put in my reps, put in the work, and life will reward me. And all I really have to do is save in sats. And like you said, I think most of us young dudes, I'm a millennial, I'm older than you are, you're a Zoomer, but I think most of us young dudes come for the money. And then once we realize what's actually going on, we stay for the money. And in my opinion, I think Bitcoin is the best opportunity for all of us young guys out here. I mean, you and I are basically in the same boat. Our futures got robbed because of all the fiat games going on. But right now, as a young guy, I don't think it's ever been easier to start dominating and start actualizing who you want to be and what you want to do. And it really starts with just having some discipline and some sacrifice and saving in Bitcoin. And I know it's simplified when you break it down like that, but I really do think it's that easy. And well, last thing you said, which is I'm on the same boat right now as well. It's like burn all the bridges and don't look back. Like this is the way. Just continue moving forward and just understand like it's not going to be easy, but what you got to do is just put in the work. And if you're consistent and persistent, life will reward you. As Nico and I always say, when we're giving each other pep talks on the back end, it's like the universe will it will ask you how much you really want it. And if you really want it, then you're gonna have to push through. And I mean, relating this back to Bitcoin, like talk about the bear markets, and Bitcoin will definitely test your resolve and ask you, how much do you really want this? How much do you really know what's going on in the space? Because you're going to get dumped on for 70% purchasing loss. And if you are weak-handed, if you don't have that mental strength to continue, then you might get wrecked and you might miss this opportunity. And again, this is why I wanted to bring you on today, Nick, is because look, we're both young dudes, and me and you go back all the time, back and forth. We've been going back and forth for a long time, talking about, as I said, entitled this, building a legacy on Bitcoin. And one of my favorite memes that you have, and I've said this on the show before, and it like blew people's minds. And I think this is your most famous meme. And well, we don't have to talk about where you got the meme because that's controversial in itself. But you once said, I don't stack sats for my first name. I stack sats for my last name. And I felt that, bro. And I'd like to get this message across to more people because I think this is what we're fundamentally doing. Like we are building on a strong foundation. And once you understand what good money is, like there's no going back. There's no going back to the fiat world. It's like I am building something for not only myself and my future self, but for my future generations, my future offsprings. Like we're building an army out here. Like we're building dynasties and the meme of generational wealth. And I just love how you said it, bro. I don't stack sats for my first name. I stack sats for my last name. And are you still on that same mission, bro? I know you are, but how's it been since you said those prophetic words?
I mean, mission's still the same, you know. And the reason why I said that was because just thinking about Bitcoin and thinking about what I want when I'm older, like, I'm still young. I'm still figuring out what I want in life. One of the things I obviously know I want is like I want to be a homeowner. I want to be able to buy my own vehicle. I want a wife. I want kids when I'm older. And it's like I want to actually like live a good normal life. Like fuck the Lambos, screw all that. Like, what is just going to get me to be a good life? Because if I'm saving in fiat, they're printing, trillions of it. The purchasing power is going down. The cost of everything I wish to own is going up. I'm getting double wrecked. Like, I need to save in something better. I need to save in something harder. And when I think about, people have always said the saying of like, oh, saving in fiat currency is like saving in a house built on quicksand, but saving in Bitcoin is like saving, you know, is like living in a house built on solid ground that's not going to crumble underneath you. And I just think about, my future and how I'm going to get to where I want to be. And I just think I need to be saving in a money that cannot be debased. I need to be saving in a money that has a credible fixed supply. So none of these other cryptos who have not been battle tested or proven to withstand anything pass that test. Like Litecoin does not pass that test. The security on it is way too low. Like Bitcoin is the only thing that I found that can actually guarantee my property rights on the blockchain. So when I have that, when I send myself Bitcoin or I get paid in Bitcoin and a few confirmations happen or a few blocks happen after that, then I know I'm golden, and I just have to, make sure my security is tight, and I can build from there. I can build a life from there. I could build a business from there. You can build a civilization from there. Like this is something that I've noticed as like, and I'm not trying to be on like my Michael Saylor shit here, but like, like this is like something you can like I really think people underestimate. Like I know a lot of Bitcoiners get it, but a lot of people in the real world kind of look over this, like, maybe they would look over something like the wheel. A wheel is something people use in their everyday lives, but people don't really think about it. And I think that, like, when talking about how Bitcoin changes you, like, Bitcoin is going to change like a small minority of people. I feel like this is some new thoughts I've been having, like, in comparison to my previous interviews I've done. Like, you and me go hard in the paint with this stuff. Like we really get into it. We're really philosophical and all that. But I feel like the majority of the population just isn't. They're just, they're they're sheep, but like they got their own shit going on in their lives. Not everyone is appealed to that. Not everybody really wants to dig deep into the rabbit hole and do a bunch of research on it. So I feel like Bitcoin will change people, but maybe not everybody. And everyone, Bitcoin's just money at the end of the day. And yeah, sometimes people's incentives will change because, you're going to be incentivized more to save versus, holding fiat, where you're incentivized to spend, spend, spend. But I just feel like, this is a long change that's going to happen. Like this change is going to take a long time. And I know like Bitcoiners often say like, oh, like everything's going to happen super, super suddenly. But I don't think we've got past the gradually phase yet. I think like, the dollar's still going to be around for a lot longer. How long, I don't know. I'm not a TH chart bro or anything, but I'm just a normal dude who sees things the way they are. And I'm really glad that I am holding Bitcoin, um, especially with all the inflation that's been happening. Even though Bitcoin's crashed 70%, which fucking sucks, but like I wouldn't want to be holding a portfolio of all dollars. But like going back to the main point I was trying to make is like, or the main topic of this is like, I can see clearly into my future on a Bitcoin standard, even if like Bitcoin, like being super conservative and saying like, oh, let's say Bitcoin in 10 years, Bitcoin's like $100,000, or something like really low. Like that is still better than holding a money that is being debased and is going to zero. That actually gives me firm ground to stand on. And it also gives me it gives me a clear vision looking into my future and how I want to plan things out, and it just makes everything a lot simpler. Obviously, number go up is like a freaking cheat code, and I feel like super fortunate to be in the position I am because this isn't normal. Like this is not normal. This is like a once in like a species kind of event, I feel like. And like not everybody is going to get the same opportunity that, somebody like you or me is getting to build generational wealth. Like if Bitcoin really does rip like the way we think it is, like my future kids, they're not going to be, oh, the halving's coming up. I hope Bitcoin pumps 400%. Like that's just not going to be a thing. You know what I mean? It's going to be a lot more stable and slower growth. But yeah, Bitcoin just really, I feel like, is the perfect money for somebody who is more like conservative thinking and they really just want something to like have to their family name and to like really like use it as a tool to like bring honor to your family, like create generational wealth. and really make something of yourself. Obviously, Bitcoin can't do all the work for you. You can't just get rich and then expect, to have like a hot wife, or expect you to have like a good body, or like be successful in life. You have to do work in the real world. Like, that's proof of work. So yeah, I'm kind of just rambling on right now, but
Dude,
yeah.
I love it. Dude, another awesome meme by Nick. Dude, use it as a tool to bring honor to your family. Like, let's go, bro. Like, straight samurai code over here. But you triggered a bunch of questions in my head. But the first one is, I kind of want to touch on that last point that you made, and it's something that I've realized as well. And I like to call it like the hero's journey. It's not obviously not just pertaining to Bitcoin when you talk about the hero's journey, but there's something about Bitcoin that, like, once you finally get it, like once you finally, I don't know, anchor your life to the Bitcoin ethos, to the hard money standard, uh, it literally will change everything around you, and you're kind of, I don't know if incentivized the word is the right word, but like you're forced to get better. Like, if you really want to capitalize on this opportunity, like we're talking about, and I 100% agree. I think this, especially everyone here listening to this right now, everyone in spaces, everyone on YouTube, like I fundamentally think that this is the best opportunity. This is the best time to be a human, and in particular, the best time to be a Bitcoiner, because it's like, I look around, and this is one of the questions that I want to ask you as well. Like, I look around and I see the average person, and I just think it's never been a better time to be not only a Bitcoiner, but just someone that is willing to put in the work. Like, everyone is like turning their brain off. No one wants to work. Everyone's being incentivized to just like, you know, eat the slog and watch Netflix and not improve themselves. And then there's a few people like us that, for some reason, or maybe it's one of the main reasons, like Bitcoin has like put a fire on our ass and gave us purpose to be a better version of ourselves. And I was having this conversation yesterday, and I had this idea. It was like, look, I don't know about you guys, but it really does feel like a sink or swim moment right now, where it's like, look, I either put in the work and I create the life that I want to, or I accept the fact that, I'm never going to amount to anything. And I just can't do that myself personally. I don't know about you guys out there on the social medias, but I have this call it high self-worth or high self-esteem view of myself. But if it's only a thought, like, it doesn't mean anything. And this is what Nick was saying. It's like, if you're not putting in the work right now, then, I hate to get harsh on it, but it feels like you don't deserve all the number go up. Like, what's the meme? Like, Bitcoining, uh, hodling isn't easy, but like, it does feel easy after a while. And you kind of reminded me of this tweet that just popped up on Twitter, and it was a screenshot. And I like to get your thoughts on this, Nick. And it goes, you could argue Bitcoin is a net negative. I don't believe this. It keeps young men from doing meaningful shit because they are just hoping one day it hits $1 million instead of working and hustling. And this is a sentiment going around on Twitter right now, and I think it's a complete opposite, because I say it all the time. Just stack sats, provide value to your fellow man, and then figure out how to get more cash flow. And so this meme going around right now that, like, oh, Bitcoin pumping and number go up is going to make men more unproductive, I think is wholly mistaken, because I can only think about myself. And it's been one of the defining things in my life to make me want to be a better person, and be a better man, not just like a better person, but like being able to provide for myself, for my future children, for my family. It's not solely based on Bitcoin, but like I can definitely attribute it to a lot of my Bitcoin thinking and a lot of the things that I've learned in Bitcoin. And like you said, and we say it all the time as well, it's like building on a strong foundation. I don't know. There's something about Bitcoin that I think more people need to hear this kind of stuff, where it's like, look, man, you can instill all these hustle, self-help perspectives that you are learning on social media, and you add them on top of Bitcoin, and it's just going to be an exponential growth in yourself and in your future. And it's like, it seems so simple to me on this side of the rabbit hole because we've done the work, and you and I are one and the same, where like we have that sports winning mentality where it's like, all right, bro, like we're competing out here. We're competing for sats, and I ain't gonna let you outstack me, Nick. Like, we're friendly competition over here. And I look around and I see all my friends succeeding, and it makes me want to also succeed. And so I don't really believe this idea that number go up will make men less productive. I think it will do the opposite, because I've seen it do it for me. I've seen it do it to you. I've seen it do it to a handful of other friends. And it just really blows my mind that people are still thinking that, oh, just because number goes up, I don't have to do anything. So, like, what's your thoughts on this, bro? Do you think Bitcoin will incentivize more young men like us to get their shit together? Or are we just like that lucky few that you're saying? Or maybe it is the lucky few, and that's all we really need, just a small minority of people that still want to dominate and look at the playing field and like, yo, it's never been easier to be a better person.
Yeah, I think well, initially, like when I saw that, I was like, I can see why some people think like that. Because if you get insanely rich at a young age, maybe like you make some poor decisions, you party too much, or you buy like a bunch of stupid stuff that you don't, you probably shouldn't buy, and you're careless with your money because, oh, I have all this money. Doesn't matter if I overspend here, or, buy something and don't end up using it. But at the end of the day, I also think for some of those people who are maybe dying on that hill, maybe that might be like a projection, them projecting onto others. Cause like, you know, I'm like, I'm gonna continue working my butt off. And if I slack and I'm not doing that, one of the things I'm really grateful for is like I've surrounded myself with a group of people who have that winning mentality, like we've discussed, and like they're not going to let my standards drop. They're going to be like, "Hey Nick, like get your shit together. You don't need to be watching Netflix all day." And like then I'm going to be like, "Yeah, okay." And then I should even be to take that a step further. I should even be, taking that initiative myself. I shouldn't have people tell me what to do. So I don't know. I guess it might vary case by case. Some people it might make more lazy. Some people it might not. But I mean, like if you do make a lot of money on Bitcoin, like yeah, hustle and grind, but also remember to enjoy life. What you just did is in one of like the most uncertain times in financial history, you found the signal amongst the noise. You correctly allocated your time and your capital to it, and you were right. So not everyone on earth is doing that right now. And right now it seems like only a small group of people out of the world population has done that and is doing that. So no, like yeah, like celebrate, pat yourself on the back, and enjoy life. But don't do it alone. Do it with like friends or family or something. Cause again, Bitcoin's just a tool. Like if all you have is money and you don't have any like friends, family, or like a good wife or something, like you're pretty poor. That's the way I see it. But like, um, kind of touching on like that winning mentality thing, like I love that about the Bitcoin community, and I like not everyone has it, but like a lot of people have it that I've seen on Bitcoin Twitter, and I'm used to that. Like, growing up playing sports, like you said, like my coach fucking drilled into me every day. This dude played professionally over in England, and like if I let my standards drop for anything, like he would just cook the shit out of me, and it fucking sucked. And I've noticed that a lot of Bitcoiners do that to me as well. And I feel like that's something that something that has allowed me to like really like. There's always felt like this feeling of like, oh, these are my people, because I'm used to that type of like tough love.
Yeah, 100%. Like there's something to the transparent honesty of like having good friends around you that are like telling you like, yo, like you're messing up right now, like because I love you, I'm going to tell you you're messing up. And
Yeah.
I think that's missing in most of the world.
And one more quick thing is like about like, our people's mentality is going to change. I think that really depends on who you are, like I said earlier, because like if you really think about it, if Bitcoin is really something that's going to be super successful, this is not just going to be something where a high school kid finds it like I did and says, "Oh, I can get rich, hopefully, let me try and go all in and degen trade this and see what happens." This is something where people are collectively all around the world saying, I'm gonna work legitimately. I'm gonna go out and create my own wealth. You don't have to work in Bitcoin to be a Bitcoiner. You can, if you have a skill or a trade or other hobbies or another passion that you have, that is totally fine. You do not have to work in Bitcoin. I feel like there's a stigma around that, like, oh, working in Bitcoin is so amazing. It is really cool. I love my job, but also some of y'all have really dope jobs as well that like I would like to work as well. Like don't hate on your job just because it's not in Bitcoin. Just buy Bitcoin. And this is the thing, getting back on track to that point is like when you have these tens of millions to hundreds of millions of people all over the world, like collectively starting to say, I'm ditching my government currency for a new currency that I firmly believe is better for reasons X, Y, and Z. And I'm going to have a future. I'm going to have a family. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to create a better life for myself. That is a revolution. And I think American Hodl said something similar to that a while back, but like that really stuck with me because like that is proper, like that's history in the making. People are collectively saying, I'm done. I want a better life for myself. This is not something I'm going to ditch in a week, a month, 6 months, a year. This is something I plan on seeing out for the rest of my life. And this is something that I'm going to, stick to and, get my family on, my friends on, and really just, show, not sometimes not even tell people. Like, I don't even like telling people about Bitcoin anymore. I just show them with my actions, like leading by example.
Let's go, bro. I've been saying that so much, and at times I feel kind of guilty because it's like, I talk about Bitcoin every single day, and then sometimes in my normal life, I'm like, I'm not even going to shill Bitcoin at this point. It's like you said, I just let my actions show what is going on here. And I say it all the time, like be a shining example of what it means to be a Bitcoiner, but further, like be a shining example of what it means to be a good human. And that inherently is going to start to make ripples and make waves and have people interested in what you're doing and how you got there. Because like, look, I don't know about you guys, but I can give people all the facts in regards to what's going on with Bitcoin. But the best example of orange pilling someone is living a good life because people want to live a good life. And I think that we're kind of on the same page here where it's like, look, I'm just going to be the best version that I can be and just show people that you just save in Bitcoin and this is all you have to do. And, like I say to every single day, like just provide value and hold Bitcoin. That's all you have to do. And like you said, you don't have to work in Bitcoin if you have skills that aren't, tailored to what's going on in the Bitcoin space right now. Like you probably have some awesome skills that you can capitalize on and then you just save in Bitcoin. Maybe Bitcoiners want whatever you're good at and just add Bitcoin on top of that. But I have one question for you, and this might be a little bit off topic, but it sparked twice already. Do you still have non-Bitcoin friends, Nick?
So ever since moving out of my home state, the I moved from Virginia to Tennessee. All my friends back home are non-Bitcoin. Like literally none of them are into Bitcoin. I mean, some of them have messaged me about it a few times, but like they were congratulating me like crazy at 69K, but at 15K they're probably like, yeah, Nick's an idiot scammer. But no, I do have a few friends here. I'm a huge Manchester United fan. I go out and I play soccer with them, and I hang out and I watch Premier League with them on the weekends. Those are mainly like my non-Bitcoin friends, but mostly the people I hang out with here pretty much are Bitcoiners.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the same boat. Like all my friends back home, there's a few of them that reach out to me. I actually had one reach out yesterday and asked me about self custody, asked me, whether they should keep Bitcoin on an exchange or not, or will they end up like FTX? I'm like, bro, like no, you're literally gonna end up like FTX. Like here's some wallets that you should be doing, but I think it's kind of like the meme, your network is your net worth, and it's very interesting how after a while you kind of I sounds harsh, but like you only really want to hang out with Bitcoiners that like get it, that have that like go get it mentality of yo, like we have a really big opportunity right here. And as much as bear markets hurt when you're all in on Bitcoin, it's like Stacker said right here, like saving in Bitcoin, especially during bear markets, it's the most helpful thing you can do for Bitcoin, but not only for Bitcoin, for yourself. Like we say it all the time, cheap sats, like if I can provide value, if I have cash flow coming in and I can save in Bitcoin right now, like the stacks that you can stack right now in the bear market are going to be worth exponential in the future once number goes up inevitably. So it's back to this whole idea of just like continuously provide value and save in Bitcoin. I think you and I are kind of on the same boat. Um, like I can't really relish in my past successes. Like I have a really short term perspective over here where it's like I have to continuously like up the ante and get better at everything I'm doing, or else like I don't know, I just like can't sit on my laurels. And I think I don't know about you, and I can't really relate this to just Bitcoin, but there's something to just surrounding yourself with other people that are playing Hungry Hippo, as I like to call it. Like we're all just playing Hungry Hippo, trying to get as many sats as possible. And I think more people should be playing this game. But if, of course, like should have, could have, would have, it really means nothing. And so, I mean, the whole idea of today is just trying to get this message out there to other young people that are like, look, bro, like you don't have to be a technical Bitcoiner. You don't have to study Bitcoin as like you don't have to be obsessed with Bitcoin like everyone else that's in Bitcoin right now. All you got to do is provide value to your fellow man and save in Bitcoin, and the rest will work out. Like just get better at everything you're doing. If you're young, and you're going to save in Bitcoin forever, like I have that same view, Nick. Like I don't think I'm ever gonna not save in Bitcoin. Like what else is there to save in? I
Mm,
can't see this ever ending.
yeah. One thing also is like, I totally agree with you. Like, you outgrow people. And like, it came to a point where like I was spending more time talking to like when I was in college, I was spending more time talking to anons on Twitter than I was talking to my old friends from high school because I was just like exploring what I was interested in and I was learning so much. But like, if anybody out there is like, brand new to Bitcoin and you're young and you're on the fence, we're not saying at all, like, do not ditch your friends and say, like, oh, if I have to buy, if I'm going to buy Bitcoin, I have to ditch everyone who's not talking about it. Like don't like talking to Bitcoin people is really nice, but like also having friends who maybe aren't into Bitcoin or just like, have other passions and stuff that you're into is like also really good too. Like I said earlier, like I'm a huge Man United fan. I love watching Premier League on the weekends. Don't really recommend doing that with Bitcoiners who are going to be like, oh, it's bread and circus. Like sports ball is a scam. Like it's that's so fiat. Let's like, bro, lighten up. Sports is fun. It's like I like watching that with my friends who don't really care about Bitcoin because like it's a nice, life thing. It's a nice escape. I just like it. So no, definitely also like try like I've been trying to do this more is like, don't get into like a situation where like you can only talk about Bitcoin and then like you can't even communicate with other people. Cause like genuinely, I see some people on Twitter, like I'm half joking, but I'm also being serious. Like I saw somebody, I forgot who it was, but they said like they like can't even go out and like talk to anybody anymore because like everyone is so like just like not up to speed as they are. And like I think it's kind of sad when I see that, to be honest. Like you can't connect with like you can't go into a bar and just like talk to the homies. Like I don't know. That's a part where I don't want to get to. Um so Bitcoin's a tool. Use it to also explore your other hobbies, your other interests, your other passions. Because there's a lot more to life than money.
Dude, you saw me cracking up because it's pretty interesting because like just a TLDR story, a little memory lane story. I can remember when I was the same way, you know, like when I first got into Bitcoin, it seemed like I finally found my people, right? Like it was like, oh man, like finally people that get it. And then you go down the whole rabbit hole and you kind of get that idea of like, okay, you know, like no one gets it, and you know they all think I'm dumb, and so you kind of isolate yourself. And then after a while you kind of realize like, wait, you know, like having good relationships in real life is something that's very important. And just because people don't understand Bitcoin doesn't mean that I should cut these people off. If anything, if I have compassion and I love my friends and my family, then it's kind of up to me to like bring them up to speed. And so you just do that in your own ways. And again, it's kind of back to this idea of like just be a good example of being a human, and they will eventually come around. And I think, you know, in my personal life, I've kind of done this recently where a lot of my friends would like laugh at me in the past and be like, you're the crazy Bitcoin guy. And now they'll slowly but surely just start texting me because they see like, yo, wow, he's was able to take this risk to capitalize on this opportunity. And it's all based on Bitcoin. And I really like how you put it because I fundamentally agree where it's like, look, the beautiful part about Bitcoin for us young, for and I'm speaking to mostly young dudes right now, like, all right, so I understand exactly what the opportunity is for us, and it's like, look, build yourself a little nest egg, save for your future, sacrifice a little for your future. And then once you get in a position where you feel like you can take a risk and do what you really want to do, then by all means do it. But like, don't cut everyone off and everything off because of, you know, relationships you build on the internet. Like, build those relationships into your real life and your life will improve because you're bettering yourself. But also, you know, there's something to having a good work life balance and, you know, clearing your head of all the madness. Because, I mean, you know, we're both in Bitcoin media. And you and I both know that on Twitter, sometimes it gets just a little too, what's the word? Like a little too much doom porn, like everything's going to hell. And this is kind of why I've been leaning into like the Optimus Fields meme more, like memeing of myself of like, look, what do I want to do in my life? I want to be as positive and uplifting and helpful as possible. And how am I able to do that? And it's by just having these awesome conversations with other people that are trying to better themselves. And maybe we are in the small minority, but there's more of us out there that are looking for the answer. And I think Bitcoin is part of the answer. Like you said, you know, Bitcoin is a tool, Bitcoin is that freedom tool. And if there's more of us out there, there's more young men out there that are looking and have no direction. They don't have the tools to succeed in the modern world. Well, they can start by just saving in Bitcoin. Like take your minimum wage job and save in Bitcoin. And look, Nick and I did the same thing. Like, we're not telling you to do something that we haven't done. We did the same thing. We put in the work and we took our normie jobs, as people like to say. We saved in Bitcoin. And now we've been able to completely change our life because we're living by a whole new life philosophy. And I always just attribute it to like the proof of work philosophy. It's like proof of work to me is a lot more than just Bitcoin mining. It's a way to live. Like, are you putting in the work? Are you sacrificing a little now for the future? Are you lowering your time preference? Like all the Bitcoin memes that we talk about, to me, like this is why my life has gotten better, is because I live this stuff out. Like, I'm not just saying this every single day. I do this every single day. I put in the work. I've audited myself. I've done my best to cut out the excess, you know, as much as Nick and I are talking about like, hey, it's all right to watch a little sports ball here and there. It's okay to unplug a little bit on Netflix. Like, if your life's not in order, bro, stop playing video games, you know, like stop smoking weed. Like, I did that for myself, and I'm only trying to relate this message to more people out there. It's like, look, man, there's a really great opportunity out there. Like, there's money to be made. There's value to be provided, and all you have to do is audit yourself and find, a solution to other people's problems. And in that process, you will fix your own problems. It's like a, I don't want to cuss too much, but it's a mind fuck, bro. It's like a feedback loop of, all right, get out of your own way, save a little in Bitcoin, provide value, and the universe will bless you. Like, in my opinion, I'm trying to simplify this message as much as possible to help more people out there. And I think this is like the basic idea. It's back to your original meme. Don't stack sats for your first name, stack sats for your last name. Like, bring honor to yourself, your family, your ancestors. And I think no self-respecting person would want to save in a money that's designed to steal from you, in fiat money. And this is something that you can build a legacy on. And I think, not to toot our own horns, but I think we're kind of in that process, bro. And I think in a while we're going to be very surprised and humbled and happy that we really took these risks right now and are putting in that work. And I think it's just trying to be a PSA out there for more people. It's like, look, what do you want to fix in your life? Stop complaining about it. Save in Bitcoin, put in the work, provide the value, get some good friends around you, get some good relationships around you, find the love from your family, work on yourself a little bit, and life will reward you.
I know, like, we're saying this as like, just go out there and do it. For most people, like, it's a lot easier said than done. Like, when I remember when I first got into it, like, it was hard. Making that huge lifestyle change, like, not just in Bitcoin but just from where I started to where I am now, like, it's a ton of work. Talking about like sacrifices and stuff, making, like, I remember working Fridays and weekends to stack more sats. I remember, um, my car broke down and I didn't fix it fully. I used to jimmy rig my car with a screwdriver
I remember that.
because Bitcoin was like $3,000 and it costed $1,000 to fix the car. And I really didn't want to pay the $1,000. So for like 8 months, I drove around on it, just jimmy rigging it with a screwdriver, like stupid stuff like that. Like, it's not easy. It's hard. I'm not saying you have to jimmy rig your car with a screwdriver, but like, your first 4 years into it, 3, 4 years into it, like, it is hard. Bitcoin's constantly going down in the bear market. Obviously, this depends on when you get in, but just assuming you got in like the last year or so, like, Bitcoin's constantly going down. You don't fully have a strong grasp on it yet because, like, we can talk about Bitcoin's going to do this, Bitcoin's going to do that. It can withstand this attack. It can do this, it can do that. It's going to go up then, it's going to go down there. Like, you can talk about it all you want, but I feel like you truly don't get a solid understanding until you've lived through it and you've seen Bitcoin perform and just beyond your expectations in some areas, maybe below your expectations in other areas, and you can get like a really good, well-rounded understanding of it. And um with this, like, you know, talking about like young people who are into it, because like, you and I are guys, we're young, but also like girls, I've seen a lot of girls here who on Bitcoin Twitter who, like, let's say, want a more conservative lifestyle. So this obviously relates back to them. Like, I've seen a lot of women who say, like, I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I want to be like a home, uh, what's it called? Like a homekeeper, or like they want to take care of their homes and raise their families. Like, that's the same fucking thing, guys are building towards in Bitcoin. Like, that's the same thing. So this relates, I feel like this conversation can relate to a lot of them as well. Maybe they just save in Bitcoin and do whatever. But like, I'm not saying, like, I feel like there's a different hustle and grind mindset between certain people, but like, it's still the same. The end goal is still the same. And I feel like with a lot of young men, there's a lot of people who do not want any responsibility at all. They want to live like this reckless lifestyle. But there is a lot of people, like you said, who are looking for, some sort of stability in their lives. They're looking for something, they're looking for the signal amongst the noise. They're looking for something that gives them a personal sense of responsibility, because guys love responsibility. They love owning property. They love defending that property. And I'm not saying with like, oh, ARs and fucking tanks and shit, but people like having something under their belt that they can say, this is mine. This is my little piece of the world. I live in, wherever, and this is mine. This is valuable and you can't have it. There are a lot of UTXOs like this, but this one is mine. And then they can go and build a family and a life from that. And it gives people this sense of responsibility. People love custodying their own keys. Maybe not everyone, maybe other people who are not into Bitcoin would rather Fidelity hold their coins or something, or maybe something like a collaborative multi-sig like with Unchained. But like a lot of guys that I've seen on Twitter, and personally the way I feel myself, is I love custodying my own keys. I love holding my own wealth. And this was even when I had just got into Bitcoin and I was a shitcoiner. I remember my brother got a ledger, and I was like, "What is this?" And this was 2017. This was when I first got into it. And he's like, "Oh, this is like they call it a hardware wallet. It's so you can take the coins off the exchange and you can put it on here, and nobody else can hack your money. Nobody else can take it from you." I thought that was the coolest shit ever. I'm not even joking. That instantly attracted me to it, and I wanted to get a hardware wallet. I became obsessed with self custody after that. Like, not saying like I'm an expert or anything, but I just thought it was so badass how I could have this hard money that is like, you know, unlike any other money I've ever seen before, like better than the dollar, and I can take custody of it and you can't touch it. This is mine. You'll never get your greedy little hands on it. I love that. Now it's only my greedy little hands on it, you know? So I love that. And I think a lot of people, especially people who, are getting screwed over by the financial system today. I mean, I look around at groceries and I go to the grocery store and I'm like, man, I genuinely do not know how a family of 3, 4, or 5 is getting by making, the average salary in America. I don't understand how they're getting by buying groceries, paying their rent or their mortgage, paying for a car, and then, wanting to enjoy life. Like, people are getting screwed over. But I feel like saving in Bitcoin over a long period of time fixes that. And it just completely changes everything.
I love it, Nick. Man, so much signal. Hold on.
Now listen, that's called motherfucking bond.
I just want to, I told you it'd only be an hour, so I just want to touch on one thing that you talked about. And this is something that I also believe in, that I've also experienced and done personally in myself. And the best way I can kind of start this is like, go through the suck, man. Like, take personal responsibility. Stop pitying yourself. Like, put in the work, and it's going to be painful. Like, go through the pain. The pain just means that there's things you need to change about your life, and it's unavoidable. Like, if you are in a position right now that you aren't happy, if you aren't getting the results you want in your life, then it's back to like what me and Nick are saying. Take personal responsibility for every aspect of your life, and then start to fix it. And you have the best money in the world. And all you need to do is just continuously save in that money. And it's not going to be easy. Like, nothing, what's the other meaning? Like, nothing worth something in life comes easy, or whatever it is. I butchered it. And also, bro, like, we're in this position right now. I keep saying we're in peak clown world, and obviously peak clown world continues to peak more. But again, also, I'm with you. It's like, I look around at the world right now, and I couldn't imagine not being a Bitcoiner. Like, yeah, oh man, wow, hold on. Diogenes Sorotes, pain is weakness leaving the body. Yo, that used to be in my football locker room. That's throwback. I just had a flashback. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about, guys. Like, if you are leaving the fiat system, You will go through some pain, you will go through some behavioral changes, but if you're consistent to the message and you put in the work on the other side of it, it'll be worth it. It's like what's it, the Green Mile, float down Shit's Creek like Andy Dufresne and come up with a whole new perspective on life. Like I really do think that this is what's happening with Bitcoiners. This is what happened with me. It's what happened with you. I've seen it happen to a lot of friends. And it's very interesting how coming back to reality with Bitcoin has this effect on us. It's like the fiat world, the clown world that we talk about all the time. It's so distorted that there is going to be an inevitable amount of short-term pain. But if you can withstand it, if you can build yourself up to be a better person, a better Bitcoiner, then you're going to change your life. And it's something that's happened to both of us. And I want to do my best to try to get these stories out to as many people as possible, to get more people to, I don't know, get the fire under their ass. Again, sorry for cussing everyone, but it's the only way we can get these message across to people. And it's just understanding, like, look, you're going to have to change your life, but you can build a legacy with Bitcoin. You can save in Bitcoin. Oh, it's Shawshank Redemption. Sorry. Dude, memory's horrible. But Nick, thank you, bro. I think we did today some justice. I know we didn't really talk about Bitcoin as much as I do in the past, but I think these stories are just as important of like, look, guys, again, you don't have to be in Bitcoin. You don't have to consistently talk about Bitcoin. All you need to do is provide value, save in Bitcoin, go live your life and build things. You are a co-creator. Produce something. Stop being a consumer. Stop being a mindless consumer.
Yeah.
And unplug the video games or Netflix and go create something.
Yeah, I'd say like you should be your number one most valuable asset, and then Bitcoin comes after that. You should be out there creating and just like improving yourself constantly. And I don't know if other people think like this, but like when I think of the word improve yourself, I always just go to the gym and I think like, oh, this is what it means to improve myself. But no, it's so much more than that. Like, go out there, touch grass, like actually talk to people in the real world, like get real world skills, know how to navigate the real world, and build a lot of relationships. Maybe don't burn bridges too fast, unless like they're total fucking scammers. But like in your personal world, like Bitcoin Twitter is a lot different. Like if someone says something, to you in your friend group or at the grocery store, you can't just say, "Well, get fucked, scammer," and then block them or something. Like Bitcoin Twitter is not real life, and I think that's something that a lot of people also got to remember. Um, but yeah. Um, don't get psyoped on Bitcoin Twitter. Live life. Bitcoin's a tool. Use it to improve your life. Look at your life and say, like, be brutally honest with you. Maybe get some outside opinions. One of the best, I saw somebody tweet this, and like, I feel like this isn't a viable thing for everyone to do just based on where you live. But like, I saw somebody tweet and they were like, if you want the most honest assessment of your life, go to a bar in a small conservative town and just ask any group of dudes, and they will give it to you super fucking straight. Like,
Let's go.
like get some outside opinions on your life if you're not happy with it, and use Bitcoin as a tool. Like the number one, like if you think about it, like this might be getting too stupid or too cosmic, but I always think of like at the end of the day, this is just planet Earth, and like we found ourselves in a really unique situation where we're living in like a super civilized time in comparison to like, history. And that we have a lot of, we have it pretty good. I'm sitting in an apartment right now with heating and air conditioning, a fridge and an oven. Like it's pretty easy for me to like live and survive, as long as I have money coming in. But like use just, you know, figure out what you want, like distill things down to the simplest way. At the end of the day, what you probably want is like your primal urges is like, to create, to make babies and like, just like live a good life and like, really, constantly improve yourself. And Bitcoin is just a tool. It's just a tool for you to utilize and make your life better. So like, some people say, "Oh, like I'm never going to sell Bitcoin ever. Like my sats are going to, I'm going to hodl till I die." Well, it's like, well, what if you need like, what if you get really sick and you need, like a surgery, or you need like a super expensive medicine or something? You're going to sell your Bitcoin because you're like, do you value, like, would you get paid $10 million right now if it meant that in a year you died? You would never take that $10 million because you value your life more than that 10 million. So just like money only goes so far. Obviously, if you have like a sweet setup, like you have like a good family, good friends, and everything, like the money is super sweet. But if you don't have, certain things leading up to that, if you just have a bunch of money but you don't have anything else, like it kind of sucks. So just use the money, use the Bitcoin as a tool to improve your life, and go out there, get real world skills. And yeah, just make sure you have more Bitcoin today than you had yesterday.
Let's go. I just want to touch on one thing, man. You said it yourself. Complacency in the modern world has made the majority of us very, not only mentally weak, but physically weak. And so, do some hard stuff right now, like whether that is sacrificing, whether that is lifting weights, whether that's improving yourself. I really like how this quote that Narwhal Tacos put in the chat, and I put it up earlier, is your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. Like, put yourself through the work and life will reward you. And it's a very simple process. The world has made the majority of us soft, and so just put in that work, guys. Most of us, I looked at our analytics, the majority of the people on our show are young men, and as we've been seeing the last couple of years, a lot of young men need a guiding light. And for us, maybe we're the few. Bitcoin and the friends that we've made on Bitcoin Twitter have been that guiding light for us. And I'm just trying to relate these messages to as many people as possible. Last week, I had Surfer Jim on, so I hit the older crowd. This week, I'm trying to hit the younger crowd. And I'm just going to continuously go down these stories and, win the hearts and minds of the people out there, whether it's relating this story or other people. I will get as many friends on here as possible to talk about how Bitcoin has changed their lives. So Nick, where can people find you? And we'll roll this one out. Give people your Twitter account, and what's to look out for?
Yeah, I'm mainly just Nikcantmine on Twitter, Nikcantmine. I don't really have other social followings. Twitter's pretty much just what I use, or at least that I'm willing to give out. Like I'm not giving y'all my Snapchat or anything. So sorry, sorry to all the ladies out there, but that's off limits. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's where you can find me.
Oh, let's go. Yeah. Also go see his work over at Bitcoin Mag. He's head of news over there, guys. So show some love. I'll probably be seeing you at the Bitcoin conference coming up, or actually maybe I'll try to head out to Tennessee. I've been telling you for a while, but I don't know. I'll see you in the flesh soon, bro. And just keep killing it, dude. So
Absolutely. Thank you for having
all
me
right.
on.
Yeah, chill out behind the scenes for a moment while I roll this one out, and we'll talk for a moment. All right, guys, look. I know this is a little different conversation than usual, but I think that there was a lot of value in there of, look, I am a young man, Nico's a young man, and if you're our age, Zoomer, millennial, I think you have a really great opportunity to build on Bitcoin, to build a legacy on Bitcoin, to save some sats for your future. All you got to do is what I tell you guys every single day in our spaces. Provide value to your fellow man, save in Bitcoin, and continuously reiterate this process, and life will reward you. It won't be easy, but it's going to be worth it, boys and girls, mainly boys. All right, guys. We'll be back tomorrow for our normal live show. And then we got some IRLs tomorrow as well. So just stick around. I got some more friends that'll be coming in and out of the YouTube. Until then, guys, I hope you guys stat some sacks. Go play Hungry Hippo and go take some Bitcoin off the exchanges. And then just audit your life, man, and get better at it. This is what Bitcoin offers. And this is what I hope more people will take away from not only this interview, but from Bitcoin in general. All right, guys, I will see you later.